All right, everybody, we're doing something a little bit different this Saturday. Usually we're not open on Saturday, so I usually try to do a little bit of something different. Project that I have that I can work out at my own pace, kind of. This one's kind of one of them. Came in for an AC recharge. He kind of put on his own AC lines. It's this little gem right here. So you guys can kind of imagine what we're going to be dealing with on this little guy. It's a nice little Chevelle here. Really mint. Actually, he does a lot of his own work, and he comes to me when he's got some issues with something he can't really figure out. He was having some issues with his throttle position sensor not too long ago. We sorted that one out for him, and now he's back for some AC things. I don't know how familiar you guys are with custom stuff, but the nature of the beast on this thing is kind of tinker with stuff, replace it as you see fit. Something else will arise, and tackle that as it comes up. He put on these AC lines right here. I don't know if you can see, but this one is super close to this header right here. And actually, even though the lining is good, and even though it has a heat shield on it, it wasn't enough, and the inner lining ruptured and kind of leaking all over the place. So we kind of aborted that mission for now, but interestingly enough, he's also been having other heat issues because of that same header. The starter sits underneath the passenger side header, as most of you are probably familiar with on these old Chevy trucks. Chevy vehicles, sorry. So we're going to try to tackle that today. Kind of interesting here. So this system obviously didn't work. He's onto his second or third starter. I think the biggest problem is that this starter solenoid on this one gets to be really hot, and then it won't hit and actuate the gear on here. So this one was probably a little bit inadequate in protecting the solenoid itself. So we're going to try something else. I already kind of started fiddling around with it, but I thought this might be a cool thing for you guys to check out. He's going to have two systems here. He's got one of these guys. It's just a little blanket heat shield. They work really good on headers and stuff like that. I'm kind of the opinion that maybe he should wrap that header. I know it doesn't look that cool sometimes. Maybe help him out there. I don't know, ceramic coating sometimes is an option too. But we're going to put this on the starter. I'm going to really try to get the solenoid a little more protected. However, he wants to put also this other one, this other shield. It seems to be like a little stainless sheet. It came flat, and I started already forming it a little bit, and I'm going to have to form this piece too. But we're going to do that, and maybe integrate both of these systems. Sometimes integrate two different companies like that. They don't usually play nice together. But we're going to try to see if we can make something like that work. So we're going to put these both together and see how we can protect them. I'm going to really trim the blanket a little bit more, because it won't let me bolt this if I just straight up wrap it. It also look kind of ugly, if you ask me. And we're going to kind of just make some tweaks and adjustments and do that. So just sit tight, take you along on this journey. All right, so we're gonna start with this. Like I was saying, I hate that. Like I was saying here, we're gonna put this guy on here. I kind of bent this on the fab table. I had some stainless steel pipe that I kind of pressed it in between and rolled it pretty good. That's a good rough shape right there, at least to start with. I like using these guys. They're kind of my weapon of choice on these bending stuff. They work really good, better than just regular old pliers. They got smooth jaws on them, so they don't mar up the surface too bad. They want us to, the directions are really limited, as I'm sure some of you guys who have done this can attest to. But they want us to bend these to about 90. I like going a little under, because if you bend and rebend this material too much, you will fatigue it and it will crack and break. So I like to go a little bit under, nice and easy, slow and steady wins the race. But you see there, it gets a nice crisp bend. I don't know if you can see that much. And then we'll just kind of go slowly, and then we'll test it there like that. So they want us to put this here on this starter solenoid like so. And you can see there we're pretty close there to these bolt holes. Pretty darn close. So we can probably put at least one here. All right, excuse the interruption there. We're not even open Saturdays, and still we got, emergencies and what have you. But anyway, we got these lined up now, so we're pretty good there. They could probably use some little final tweaking there for the end result, but we're just gonna leave them for now, because I think that when we put this wrap underneath, we're gonna probably have some clearance issues, and we're gonna probably have to tackle that. So we'll just leave that rough for now. We're gonna take this back off, and we still have to bend this guy, this ear, at 90 as well. And again, that's why I like these pliers here, because you can kind of get right on that line and bend it right where you want it. Start your bend there. Kind of start bending it there, nice and easy. To just about 90. And like I said, I'd rather go a little shy of 90 than over. And we'll just test fit it here. Again. Let's see where we're looking. Like so. Like so. Pretty close. Kind of like about that. I'm glad we didn't go more than 90, because you can kind of see here that the end result is going to have to be a little under 90. We might even have to put a compound bend right here to go straight and then jut out again. But again, we might save that for tweaking later. So what I'd like to do now is wrap this solenoid. And I don't know if you can see here, but we're going to have some clearance issues with the mounting bolts. So what I'd like to do is just kind of get this where I'd like to see it, so that we catch the most possible, and then trim it. I want to trim it around here somewhere. Like this, and then obviously you have these little fibers that get left over, but what we should do, as you can see here, I think we're gonna have some trouble getting our electrical in there as well. That looks pretty good right there. I may even put one clamp under here. I don't know if I'll be able to do that, but then wrap this and then trim it. Let me get a Sharpie. All right, so I don't know if you guys can see that there, but I think what I'd like to do is trim it here, here, and then same on the other side, about here, down, right there. And then for the motor body itself, that's probably pretty good. I'll probably have to trim about there. Similar on the other side there. And then come all the way over like so. It looks like it might be a good place to start. I think I like that. What we have to do first, though, before we lose all of our adjustments here, is probably mark starting point. A blanket here. Just to get it oriented. We might use this stud as a just put a line right here. Put a line there so we know where we're at. I don't know if that makes sense, but follow along and you'll kind of see what I mean. All right, so that's what we'll do. I'm going to trim that there. These shears work pretty good. I gotta watch the boys because I'll catch them cutting metal with this, and then they'll be just super dull and I'll have to get a new pair. But I try to keep these nice and sharp for jobs like this. All right. And we'll kind of get to cutting here. This side is going to be against the block here. So we'll need some protection, just not quite as much as the other side there. All right. So let's start there and see, kind of see how we go. Straight there, that looks pretty good. I might trim a little bit more there. And then I got these two right here. So we're gonna start there. A lot of this stuff, there really isn't an instruction book when you're dealing with stuff like this. I remember when I was at a speed shop when I was a little bit younger, I would always go up to my boss. I was a younger tech then, and ask him, hey, how do you want this routed? How do you want that routed? Where do you want this to come out of the firewall? How do you want this, started and stuff like that? And he would always, look at me and, kind of snicker a little bit and say, hey man, just figure it out, go as you go, just don't mess it up, and, that's kind of hard to hear as a young tech, because you don't know what what is right and what's not right and what's going to make the customer happy. But that's how it is sometimes. You kind of just have to have a good game plan and stick to it, have a vision, and be able to back it up as the reasoning of why you decided to go that way. And if you use your noodle, then usually you can explain why you did it that way and why you thought it was a good idea to go with that. And stick to your guns. A lot of times it's just about aesthetics and what looks good. Obviously it's form and function. You know what I mean? It's got to look pretty, but it's also got to do its job. So you got to think about what job it's trying to do and go from there. But you know, it does take a lot of, you know, fiddling and, you know, mistakes and trying all over again. That's what some people get really frustrated about, because it's not the same thing as, you know, true mechanics and automotive repair. When you're doing, you know, fabricating and custom stuff, it, you know, there's a little more trial and error and a lot of creativity that goes with it. So it kind of gives you a little bit of creative freedom, if you will. All right, so now let's get back over here. Already seem to have lost my mark. My mark should be over here, like so. There. Alright. I might have used a blue Sharpie to match his paint. Alright, so that looks pretty good there. Oh man. I like that. I like that a lot. You can see there, so for having 0 instructions, I think that that came out pretty good. And that's what I mean about having a vision here. So that looks pretty good there. It kind of leaves out all the mounting bolt surfaces that I wanted to leave out. Gives me good coverage of the solenoid and leaves my electrical exposed, so pretty happy with that. Now we're gonna see about keeping this all fastened up. That's gonna be another challenge too. They give you these little wiry things. I'm not a fan of them. They're pretty much just steel zip ties. There's another type that I like a little bit better. It's a little more heavy duty, but that's what we're given, so that's what we're going to use. Alright. There goes the phone again. Alright, so here we are again. Just put those zip ties on there. Sorry, the steel bands here. They're really caked to do. I mean, they're just, if you use the zip tie, you can do that. Just don't be a dummy like me. Don't wear gloves, you know what I mean? These things will slice you up pretty good if you're not careful. So yeah, don't take your chances like I did. So that's that. I mean, everything looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with how everything fit, honestly. Kind of went the way I wanted it to. So now we can kind of put this guy on here like so. Everything looks like it's gonna clear how we wanted it to and cover what we wanted it to. And then put this guy on there like that. And that looks pretty beautiful. If I can find the nut that went on there. Of course I lost it. Oh, it's right here. It's right here. So we'll put this guy on here. Put this guy on here. And that should be good like that. And then I might just put some cage nuts on here. I don't think we got to go full steel there. So that should be good, and that's pretty much the end result there. I think we're gonna get the best of both worlds there. So I kind of like his idea there. I mean, would I like it if it was all one integrated part? Yeah, I'd probably like that better, but sometimes it's your job to make lemonade. So let me get some cage nuts on there. Now, technically, I might hold just like that. Let me see if I can just grab myself a little screwdriver here and to press these into there like so. that, the thread should hold them in there like that. I might, you know, like I said, put some cage nuts on there, you know. But that would probably be redundant. That's probably more than enough to hold it on there. The spring tension on the steel is probably pretty good, but I wish we would be able to install this bad mamma jamma in this little Chevelle right here, and should be rip roaring and ready to go. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you guys coming along for that, and hopefully that's a little more exciting than some of the videos that we've been doing. It's been pretty crazy around here. Summertime is pretty insane for us, and I'm pretty exhausted most of the time, so you'll have to forgive me. I know I looked a little half asleep on the last video, but shoot, we just jam and, you know, get through it, push through, and get the workout, you know, whatever it takes. So sometimes I take Saturdays and Sundays, so I get pretty wiped sometimes. But I appreciate you guys watching and following along. Catch you on the next one.